night as I was sleeping, I had another of those dreams, and this one really made me afraid. There was a tree that grew large and became strong. And it reached to the sky and could be seen over the whole earth. It was beautiful and covered in fruit. The animals found shade under it. And the birds lived in its branches, and all the creatures fed themselves from it. Suddenly, a Holy One descended from heaven. He shouted out to chop down the tree and cut off its branches and scatter its fruit. Let the animals and birds flee from it, but leave the stump with its roots in the ground, with a band of iron and bronze around it. This is the stump. Let him be drenched with the dew of heaven, and let him live with the beasts in the grass. Let his mind be changed from a man into an animal for 7 years, so that everyone will know that the Most High God is ruler over all. So I gave orders once again for my wise men to tell me what it meant. And of course, only Belteshazzar, or Daniel, could tell me.
Don't be afraid to tell me about this at all.
My lord, if only the dream was about your enemies. The tree that you saw, which became large and grew strong, reached to the sky, was visible to all the earth, and was beautiful, had fruit for all, and it was home for all the animals. That tree is you, O king. You have become great and grown strong, and your kingdom has become great and reached the sky, and all over the earth. This is the decree of the Most High, which has become upon my lord the king. You will be driven away from mankind to live with the animals. You will be given grass to eat like cattle, and be drenched with the dew of heaven for 7 years, until you recognize that the Most High ruler over men gives rule to rulers. Because the stump and roots were left, this means your kingdom will be yours again after you recognize that this is heaven that rules. My advice to you is this: break away now from your sins by doing right and showing mercy to the poor.
One year later, I was walking on the roof of the royal palace of Babylon.
Is this not Babylon the Great, which I, Nebuchadnezzar the king, had set up? By my power and for the glory of my majesty?
Immediately a voice came from heaven, saying, King Nebuchadnezzar, your kingdom has been removed from you.
Pardon me a moment.
I became like a wild animal. I lived out in the fields, crawling around and eating grass like a cow. But at the end of 7 years, I, Nebuchadnezzar, raised my eyes toward heaven, and my mind returned to me. And I blessed the Most High God and praised and honored him who lives forever. And And my kingdom was given back to me, and I became even greater than before.
Now I, Nebuchadnezzar, praise, exalt, and honor the King of heaven, for he is true and just, and he is able to humble those who walk in pride.
The end.
Okay, some of you were here for our last shows a few weeks ago, and some of you others may remember. I told you that Nebuchadnezzar was going to find out that God was his God too, because he had been thinking it was just Daniel and the Hebrew people's God. Well, this was Nebuchadnezzar's personal testimony, and Daniel included it in his book on Daniel chapter 4. Like we saw in our last stories, God has been working on Nebuchadnezzar's heart for years. He's given him dreams. He's given him Daniel and his friends to show him who he was and show him all these miracles. And then he even gave him a year after the last dream to change. And he still couldn't get Nebuchadnezzar's attention. So he finally humbled him as an animal. Can't get much lower than that. Can you, maybe a bug? To show him that his pride was wrong, because he thought everything he had was something that he had done, and it was all because of himself, and that he deserved to have it. And then we know everything we have comes from who? From God. Amazingly, when Nebuchadnezzar realized that, he was really glad he had gone through what he did, and he was grateful and wanted to tell others about it. And he ended up, he told everyone. He was sort of king over the whole earth at the time. Well, the patience that God showed Nebuchadnezzar kind of gives us hope, doesn't it? That when we, that he'll have patience for us and for our family and friends that we may be praying for. So whenever we do something when we think we've really gotten into a mess, that gives us hope that God won't give up on us, and we can remember Nebuchadnezzar, and how no matter how low you go, God can still bring you back up and make you even better than before. So I hope we'll remember that anytime we're down and thinking that we can't get any lower. Look how low Nebuchadnezzar got, and God saved him from that. Okay, and Pastor Jay.